Hello, YouTube. I'd like to tell you the story about an angel that visited me on a light rail bus. It popped up out of nowhere, called me by name, and said, "Hey, Patrick." And I was like, "How the hell do you know my name? Don't worry about that, but do you love life?" And I said, "Yeah." And he says, "You're a liar." I said, "What?" He says, "You told me you're a Christian, right?" I said, "No, I didn't. I didn't tell you my name or that I was a Christian before. I could get that out." He said, "Don't worry about that." He said, "You are a Christian, so don't you remember what Jesus said about loving life?" And I thought about it and looked at him real weird and said, "Yeah, he who loveth this life in the end shall lose it." Now, be honest with me, Patrick. Don't lie to me. What's the last thing anybody would ever want to do if they truly love their life? And I said, "Well, it probably would be lose it." So he said, "Okay, I'm going to ask you again one more time. It's only two ways you can answer the question, so you can't get it wrong this time. Let's see how you do." And he taunted me, and I was looking at him like with this weird look, like, what the fuck is this dude all about? And then he says, "Do you love life?" I said, "No, I hate it with these double meanings. You keep getting me trapped in these murderous schemes with it. I can't stand it." And he said, "Lied to me again." And by this time I was incredulous and I was exasperated. I said, "How in the hell did I lie to you this time?" He said, "Don't you remember what Jesus said about hating life, Patrick?" With this maniacal grin. And then I said, "Oh my God." And he said, "That's right. He that hateth and despiseth the things in this life in the end will inherit an eternal one." He said, "That's right, so you can't answer the question, right?" And I said, without lying. And the second I said that, I turned to the crowd of all the other people that were on that light rail and said, "Oh my God, did you just hear that? He just proved that there's no way I can answer that question without lying just because I'm under the power of those words." And when I turned back to look at the angel, he was gone. And everybody went back to their books. But I insist that the words I just spoke are the evidence that an angel did visit me, because they do prove that you cannot answer the question without lying if you're under the power of Jesus' wretchedly evil words. Amen.